People always say like the Peach Belt's a hitter's conference. Every single team can hit and score runs in the conference. The teams that win the conference are the teams that can pitch and keep other teams from scoring a lot of runs. The Chiefs score 20 points against everybody else in the league, and then they play the Bills and they score 42 points or 35 points, whatever it is, just because they want to go shoot out and prove they can outscore them.
5 Super Bowls before he's 30 years old with sitting a year under Alex Smith. I mean, that's never been done before. He's making Brady look average. I mean, you want me to be 100% honest.
What?
He is. Brady didn't make 5 Super Bowls before he was 30. Hello, everybody. This is Justin Gray, sports editor for the Bell Ringer and communication major at Augusta University, with another edition of the Sports Squad from Bell Ringer Phoenix Media. On this edition of the Sports Squad, we would discuss AU women's basketball, preview baseball and softball's upcoming season that starts this weekend, and the NFL Championship weekend recap. Our panel includes AU cross-country runners Avery, Jaynes, and Patrick Motes, AU baseball player Haynes, and AU volleyball player Marin Freeland. Welcome in, everyone.
What's going on? How's everybody doing?
Good to be here.
Doing well. Yeah. Ready to watch some basketball tonight. The only thing that's happened AU-wise since last week is the basketball teams played at North Georgia. The men lost 72-67, and the women lost 71-70. So we'll get into the women's because we already had the Dip Meter show where we discussed the North Georgia game. The women lost 71-70. Did anybody watch? I know Jaxon did. Watch the second half. Anybody tune in or look at it?
I was there for the second half.
Oh.
Yeah. We struggled getting past their defense. They had some big girls that we couldn't compete with them in size. Yeah,
and a lot of teams have not been able to compete with them because they are 15-1 now, I think it is, or 16-1. Number 4 team in the country. They're going to be tough to beat. They light it up from outside. Besides the lull they kind of got into that when they got a big lead on the Jags, they were fun to watch. And the Jags got down by 17, fought all the way back, had a chance to tie it to go to overtime. Alden Phillips had 2 free throws, missed the first, made the second. A little poor situational awareness. Probably should have threw that ball off the front of the rim and tried to make a layup on the second shot, knowing you weren't going to tie the game. But, you learn from that and you move on. They'll host Georgia College tonight, and it is the cancer awareness game.
Yes, I believe so.
I'm trying to find the exact name.
Yeah, cancer awareness game.
Cancer awareness games by the Georgia Center or whatever it is. So come out to that. Everybody has a chance to win a TV, 65 inches, if you just come out as a student.
Oh, that's big.
That is big. That is very big. Maybe one of us will win it and not some rando that never comes to the game.
I don't think we're going to be allowed to win it because Bulla texted us about getting media credentials, so it's got to be a conflict of interest a little bit.
Yeah, last year.
I would love to win it, though. I'm not saying that.
Last year, they gave away $1,000, and I forgot to go get a ticket, and so I didn't have a chance to win it.
Yeah,
and
I won that.
No, you didn't.
I didn't win it.
Some 9-year-old kid won it. And
No way.
What is he going to do with $1,000?
It's a lot of Legos.
It is a lot of Legos.
A lot of V-Bucks.
His parents probably made him pay the bills. That's what I would have done with my kid.
You got to pay rent that much.
But so come out for that tonight. The men play, obviously, Georgia College, and Georgia College is winless in the conference. So it could be a fun one at the 7:30 hour if the Jags show up and show out. So we'll move on because there's not much to talk about there with the Lander cancellation last Wednesday that we talked about. We'll move on to baseball. Jabin, your time's finally here. You guys open up this Friday, 2 days from today, at St. Leo University. This is your final year eligibility, correct?
I mean, technically I have 2 years eligibility left, but I'm about to graduate, so.
So you're done?
Not a master's program for communication. Dr. Bulla, if you could pull some strings, maybe I'd come back, but it's not possible right now. So, last ride. Last year, you guys went 24-27, 12-15 in conference play. Really good start to conference play. Yeah. Then at the end of, kind of struggled to finish out the season. Won a game in the conference tournament. Something that I noticed looking back on last year, you guys are 17-10 at home, dominant at home, and then the road is where you struggle, going 6-16. How do you, going into this season, kind of, turn the tide on that, especially starting off on the road this weekend? Well, I think it's like starting hot but staying hot. Last year, we were first in the conference through the first 4 weekends of conference play, and we played a midweek against Newberry and had a 9-1 lead.
I remember that.
And they came back and scored 15 runs after that and beat us. And after that, it was we just couldn't win a series. So it kind of fell apart from there. I don't know. It's an exciting opportunity. St. Leo's a good program historically. So is the Sunshine State Conference, and we get to have 2 series against Sunshine State Conference teams. We play Florida Tech at home after playing them away last year.
Y'all had them beat twice too, I believe.
Yeah, we lost a series to them and shouldn't have. Opening day is always super exciting. We got a really young team. I think we looked at it. We got 52 guys on roster and only 28 are returning. So, and some of those are JUCO transfers or transfers from other D2s, but a lot of those, I think we got 16 freshmen. So, and obviously not all of those are going to travel. You can only travel 40, 45, whatever it is. But I think it's instilling that, we're going to Florida, we're going to Tampa, but it's not just a vacation to go to some warm weather. It's a serious trip. Because if we go down there we're just down there to have fun, they're going to punch us in the mouth because it's a good program. They pump out coaches that go to bigger schools. So they have a new first-year head coach this year. And they got a lot of new guys too, so it'll be interesting to see what happens. It's going to be high of 78 degrees on Friday, so that's exciting after this cold weather in Augusta. But yeah, we're excited.
Yeah, you guys lost a lot of production at the plate and on the mound, mainly on the mound. Starting pitchers wise, you lost Mason Bernard, Will Cantrell. How are you guys going to be able to replace that? And, kind of get going with replacing that, especially on the mound. The mound's the toughest part of it all.
Well, that's the thing. That's another thing that we're going to see. We got some guys that are sophomores this year that pitched a lot as freshmen that are going to get some starts this weekend on the mound. And they threw well at times last year, but they also didn't throw well at times. That's kind of what it was for how young our pitching staff was last year. There's a lot of inconsistency. And the problem arose for us. We always say balls are contagious. So if a guy comes in and walks a bunch of people, the next guy's going to come in and he's going to do the same thing because it's contagious. So hopefully there's more consistency. We brought in some veteran pitchers that are from junior colleges or other universities that to help the bullpen a little bit. But yeah, we're going to have some guys starting their first weekend games this weekend. So, and they're guys that have a lot of experience and a lot of innings and threw a lot in the fall and spring in their squad. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. So who's going to be going on Friday? Is Robert Hunt? Is he one of the main guys?
Robert Hunt is coming off of Tommy John.
Okay.
So he's throwing. He will throw next weekend, but he's not. He's not doesn't have endurance enough to be a starter right now. A couple weeks maybe. He's really close, but he's just not there right now. It's gonna be Blythe Keisler just on the first game on Friday, and then it's gonna go either Dawson Campbell or Garrett Wright. One of those, mix of those two. All three are lefties. So and we have a ton of left-handed pitchers, but they've been the most consistent throwing strikes and throwing their breaking balls for strikes, throwing 3 pitches for strikes. So, and then the fourth, I don't know. You can ask Coach Chris Howell, but
I think we need to get him on.
I think that's up in there a little bit. Yeah, we can get him on the pod for sure.
Maybe next week if this weekend goes as planned and you guys handle business.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier to replace that kind of production when you have a lot of lefties. I know, but you don't have to be super dominant as a left-hander. You just have to mix it up a lot, and so having a lot of left-handers helps.
It's the same hitters wise too. I mean, we lost a lot. We lost a guy that plays shortstop at Georgia Tech now. That played on our team last year. The thing about it is, people always say like the Peach Belt's a hitters conference. Every single team can hit and score runs in the conference. The teams that win the conference are the teams that can pitch and keep other teams from scoring a lot of runs. And that might be different in other conferences, but that's just always how it's been in the Peach Belt. We'll win games on Sundays like 13-12, just because that's just how it's been for us. We've the last 2 years we finished top 3 in the conference in average and runs, but we're finishing 5th and 6th in the conference in the standings because it's got to be better. The pitching and hitting has to be good at the same time. That's something we struggled to do last year. Yeah. The pitchers would throw well, give up 3 runs. The offense wouldn't score, or the offense would score 8 runs and we'd give up 12 runs on defense. So it's got to be a mix of both at the right time. But obviously, you're always going to like the squad. I like the squad this year. Great group of guys, and we have a lot of fun. So. I think it's the crucial thing is going to be going down there with a purpose and with a high intent and energy to have success this weekend.
Yeah. Speaking of last year, you guys did in a series take down the conference champs here in Augusta. I was on the call for that one. That was a great series. Georgia College always really good at baseball, typically. And last year they kind of got back on track with a conference championship, and they can rake. I remember that they can rake. The conference standings this year, they're picked to win it again. Our preseason picks, you guys were picked 6th behind Lander, Columbus State, North Georgia, and Georgia Southwestern. But I feel like that whole group last year, as we saw, was just knotted up for most of the season. It's just who can finish well.
Yeah, it's all about who's hot at the end. That's in any sport, really. But it's going to be a race to the top. I mean, Georgia College is ranked, I think 13th preseason in the country. But that doesn't matter. Preseason rankings matter to nobody. So that's not something we look at either. But yeah, it's anybody's conference. That's how it's always been. Obviously, there's some teams that are returning a lot more guys that have a better shot at it, but I think it's anybody's conference aside from Claflin. Sorry, Claflin.
Yeah, if you don't know about Claflin, it's bad. It's really bad. I had I'm not going to say pleasure of calling the last 2 games of that series last year, but it was about 15-0 before you even blink an eye. It's bad, but after you guys play St. Leo, it's 4 games, right? Yeah, 4 games. Mm-hmm. And then you come back home for a 9-game homestand. How exciting is having that many games in a row where you ain't got to go nowhere for basically 2 weeks?
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I love a road trip. I love going on the bus, and we play this game called Mafia. And I love staying at the hotel and then bringing us food. But yeah, it's always nice to be at home. We always play well at home. Mm-hmm. There's a small park, and that plays in our favor. Just because we know how there's always wind, because if you didn't know, Christenberry Fieldhouse is probably one of the highest elevations in the entire city of Augusta. So that plays to our advantage too. We played really well at home last year. The biggest thing is we got the new stadium and the padded wall, and the park looks really good. The surface is great, new scoreboard. So that's really exciting for us. We get to play 9 in a row at home in front of the whoever wants to come. If you're a Jag fan listening to this, please show up. You actually got to pay this year because we actually have stands, but I think you'll like the product on the field. So come out and support. We'd really appreciate it.
Yeah, we'll get Jackson to clip that up and put that on Instagram so everybody hears that part. You guys do return Parker Ingram as well, who's hit 13 home runs last year. Led the team most of the year in homers until the end. He's got a lot of pop in his bat, so that'd be exciting. I'm excited for the new stadium because I froze to death last year calling games at the back of the net. So
yeah, I bet
it'll be a lot warmer because when you're at the bottom of that hill, it gets colder faster than anywhere around Christenberry. I swear. That was the coldest I've ever been. I don't even remember what game. I think it was the Newberry night. and it wound up being the longest game ever. It felt like it was going to go by quick, and then, anyways. But I'm looking forward. I love baseball season. Any type of baseball I love, so I'm excited for it. Avery, anything that stood out to you about the baseball team?
I'm just excited to see y'all take the field again. I mean, I didn't get to go to too many home games, but the ones I did, there was balls flying, home runs. The games I went to, pitching looked good, so I'm really excited to see y'all take the field again and really get at it. Yeah, it's going to be a good season. The field looks great, and I think that's going to work in y'all's favor for fans-wise as well. I think that'll attract more people to come in and check it out and cheer on the Jags. So
yeah,
it's going to be good.
Avery said it good. You come, you're probably going to see a homer. Small park, wind blows out. So if you like that kind of action, come watch us.
We're going to see any Jaynes homers this year?
Yes.
Hopefully.
I'm going to call it, yeah.
I'm not that kind of guy, but maybe I'll sneak one out of there.
So, anyways, you listen to the Sports Squad from Baringer Phoenix Media. So we'll move on to softball preview. They went 20-29 last year, 8-16 in the conference. Another team that started off really hot and then cooled down. Which the softball side of things, there's a few more dominant teams in North Georgia and Columbus State. I believe Lander's pretty good and Southwestern's pretty good. So they return a decent amount of players back. Sophie Baker, Cadence Winder, Bobby Poff. Is that how you say that?
Bobby Poff.
Bailey Roberts. So a lot of their core from last year. Bailey Roberts, one of the best players in the conference. We know that. Bobby Poff and Bailey both made the preseason all-conference team. They were picked to finish 9th out of 9 in the conference, and I don't really understand how you have 2 preseason all-conference players and picked to finish 9th, but just one behind USC Beaufort for the 8th spot. They'll start their season this Saturday at North Greenville, a doubleheader, and then they'll return home on Sunday against Catawba, who struggled last year too. So that'll be a really good game on Sunday. If you can't come, you can tune in on the Peachtree Sports Network, and I'll be on the call. So excited about what they're doing over there. They brought in, I believe it was 3 transfers, 3 or 8 I don't remember. I read it yesterday in the Augusta Jags article. But Coach Mercado is in her 27th year as the coach, so a lot of consistency on that side. But anybody got anything to say about the softball team?
Hey, yeah, I think they returned the best player in the conference in Bailey Roberts. Had a good handful of homers last year. And they're returning, like you said, a lot of other talent, but I think the biggest thing, they're returning 2 pitchers, which I think will be big for them. So picked to finish last in the conference. I think that's some pretty good motivation to really make a run at it. Yeah, like you said, a lot of good teams, but North Georgia's got a new coach. So I think it's anybody's conference this year for the first time in a while. I think for like the past 15 years, it's kind of been North Georgia's going to win the conference, and we'll see who else finishes behind them. But I think it's wide open this year. So hopefully the Jags can make some noise in the Peach Belt. I'd love to see it. I know you'd love to see it because you're going to be sitting at the games watching them.
Yeah.
I'll hop on the call with you every once in a while if you want me to.
Of course. I would love to. Bailey Roberts, mentioning last year, she batted .397. She one-dotted OPS-wise. If you don't know if you one-dot OPS, you're one of the best players in the country. That's just –
yeah.
I mean, one dot is absurd. If you go look at MLB statistics, you won't see many guys with a 1 dot. But anyway, she hit 7 home runs. A lot of those at home. She crushes the ball at home because I used to have to do the recaps, and she's impressive. She's down from I'm assuming we went to school together at some point because we're the same year, and she's from Statesboro, and I went to school in Statesboro at one point. So we might be old classmates. I'm not even sure. But I'm looking forward to seeing.
Good basketball player.
Huh?
She was a good basketball player.
Was she?
Yeah.
Well, I left after sixth grade, so I couldn't tell you what happened.
You're probably a weirdo too. So
I was not a weirdo. But look forward to seeing what they do. They play at home, like I said, Sunday at 12 and 2. It's a doubleheader, so come out and support them. You're listening to the Sports Squad from Baringer Phoenix Media. So our last segment, kind of sped through today, NFL playoffs. Anybody watched? I'm assuming everybody watched the games for the most part. Eagles dominated the Commanders 55-23, and then the Chiefs did it again, 32-29 over the Bills. We'll start off with Eagles and Commanders. This is kind of what I said last week on the podcast I thought would happen. Didn't think the Commanders had enough. And then the Eagles are going to be tough to beat for the Chiefs, but that offense is just steamrolling right now. Saquon Barkley is playing at a level I haven't seen a running back play in a long, long time. He's as close to untackleable as it gets. And I was super impressed, and I wouldn't say he did too much on Sunday because he didn't get a ton of carries because of his calf strain or whatever. So I thought it was a good game until they finished it off in the end. And Will Shipley, one of my guys from Clemson, got his first career touchdown at the end of that game. So that was cool to see. Also had a forced fumble. But what were you guys' take on that one?
I mean, as a Cowboys fan, this is like a nightmare seeing the Eagles absolutely dominate. I honestly wanted the Commanders to win.
You picked the Commanders to win.
I did. I thought they would, put up a good fight. I thought it'd be at least a good game, but right now, I mean, Chiefs are going to, do their own thing, but the Eagles look like the team to beat right now. I mean, they've just dominated. And I don't know if the Chiefs have the ability to stop that. I guess we'll find out. But sadly, the Eagles look like the team to beat right now, in my opinion.
What do you think about that hire and that Jerry Jones press conference?
I don't want to talk about that.
You don't?
It was a yes man. I mean, I'll talk about it. It was a yes man hire.
You guys thought I couldn't get out of my comfort zone, so I just hired a guy that's never been a head coach before to prove you guys wrong.
That's a yes man. He's gonna just.
I don't think anybody wanted that job.
He's gonna be the mouthpiece, and just whatever he says, he's gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
And
he's gonna be a good boy, and that's it.
They've already said Dak's their guy, which was like the worst thing I could have heard on the first ever press conference.
You need some help too, though.
Yeah.
So
Dak's like Jalen Hurts. They're the same guy.
Everyone's been telling me they're just gonna tank for a good QB draft pick. I'm gonna tell myself that when they don't make the playoffs again and they have a mediocre season for the next
the Cowboys are never gonna be bad enough.
They're gonna draft Genty.
Who? Genty?
I would.
Yeah, they are gonna draft Genty.
I would honestly be okay with that.
Wrong move.
I think I'd be okay with that.
There's like 15 or 20 running backs in this draft that you could just wait till like the 5th round and get a good guy.
I would take Judkins before I took.
The
Cowboys
like
UNC guy.
Cowboys like
Hampton
short.
is a
He's
beast.
insane.
Yeah.
Short built running backs are like the Cowboys thing.
Yeah.
So.
Deuce Vaughn.
Deuce Vaughn.
Back to the game. Sorry, we started talking about Jerry and then got all wild. I thought it went exactly how I thought it would. I thought the Commanders played well. Well, they didn't play well enough because they forced those turnovers. I think that drive where who was it? Eckler fumbled, got up and fumbled.
Yeah,
they're going down to cut it to one possession if they score right there, and they're driving pretty easily. Daniels is on fire the drive before that. They're playing well, and they just made too many mistakes. And it snowballed on them at the end. Yeah, shout out Will Shipley, who did absolutely nothing at Clemson during his career.
Okay, well, he was our only hope for a few years.
He got him a touchdown, and Saquon was happy for him, so everybody was happy.
The forced fumble was a pretty big play, though.
Sirianni.
I can't stand Sirianni.
Golly. But it's okay. I think the Eagles won the Super Bowl.
Okay. I didn't expect you to say that, to be honest. I didn't expect you to say that.
I hope they don't.
Yeah, Jaden Daniels is awesome. First off, I think that needs to be said. But it wasn't even his fault. Usually these games it's the rookie's fault. It wasn't his fault. It was everybody around.
That defense needs some help.
It does. Mm-hmm. It does. And this was all gravy.
Lattimore
was all gravy.
He's washed. He's so washed.
He was a burnt man on Saturday. Did you guys see the clip? Hold on. Quick inner segment right here. The clip of Egbuka talking about in Ohio State where he said we need to throw a go route on 29 or whatever, and then Smith catches the ball to end the game. That was pretty cool. But got to be a bad day to be that number 29. You look on Instagram a week and a half after you lost that's rough.
That obvious that you could get burned on the go route.
Yeah, that's rough stuff right there. But we'll move on to what was the game of the year. Chiefs and Bills. We knew it would be. Chiefs pulled it out once again. They're just, you can play absolutely perfect and still lose to the Chiefs. That's just how good they are. Josh Allen played phenomenal, I thought. Had a chance to go down and win it, and that ball probably should have been caught by Dalton Kincaid. It was not, and Chiefs were able to run the timeout. It's almost like the Chiefs just decide what drives they want to score on, and I know that sounds like insane, just me glazing, but that's honestly...
All right, on the pod. Cool. Don't look that up, listeners.
But I mean, that's honestly what their offense is like. It's just like they decide what drives they want to score on, and they go do it. I read a stat the other day. There's been 125 times in the NFL playoffs where a team has had less than a minute and a chance to go tie or win the game. And 40% of the time, it's only 40% of the time it gets done. Brady was 5 of 11 on it. Drew Brees was 50% on it. Patrick Mahomes is 7 of 7 in those drives to go win the game or tie it. I just thought that's just the perfect.
Here's
epitome.
my thing. This is my take on it. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're good.
At what point do the Bills stop trying to have shootouts with the Chiefs? They give James Cook the ball 13 times, and he runs all over them. And then it's like they get the ball in a crucial spot, and they just forget that they can run the football, and they just try to throw. Right. And they set Spagnuolo up to blitz and put Josh Allen in uncomfortable spots. What's wrong with trying? The Chiefs score 20 points against everybody else in the league, and then they play the Bills, and they score 42 points or 35 points, whatever it is, just because they want to go shoot out and prove they can outscore them. And what happened to run the ball between the tackles? Because you've been able to do it against the Chiefs. You have the top 5 running back in the league. James Cook is incredible. But we only give him the ball 13 times. And then the last drive of the game, when you need him, he's on the sideline because you want to give him rest. I was looking at it the other day. Like every 3 drives, they just give James Cook rest so that he would be ready for the playoffs, to have a full workload. And then they just don't do it. Like that's the exact moment you were planning for to keep James Cook on the field, and you don't have him on the field. So how about we just play some hard-nosed football and see if we can beat the Chiefs that way, because they're 0-4 trying all that other crap. Yeah. But
I believe it's.
I don't like the Chiefs, so it really makes me mad because I like Josh Allen and the Bills.
I do like
and I'm tired of seeing this happen to them over and over again.
Yeah.
Or he's going to leave. If he can't beat Mahomes, he's going to leave.
I think it's a McDermott problem more than it is a Josh Allen problem. He feel like Andy Reid just has his number. Anything he wants to do, Andy Reid just does a little bit better, which that's the tale for most of the league. I mean, Andy Reid's the best coach in the league right now. It's not even close. And I think you'll see that in 2 weeks when they beat the Eagles too.
Is Andy Reid the best coach of all time?
Like, just as far as
our
I hate
generation,
to say that.
Is he better than Belichick, you think?
Coach-wise?
You got to think Bill Belichick did absolutely nothing without Tom Brady.
I agree. I think just as far as scheme-wise, yes.
Andy Reid's done it in Philly, and
he's a likable guy, too.
Best coach of all time in Philly. Best coach of all time in Kansas City. I mean, that's
Nick
pretty telling.
Sirianni's about to pass him in Philly.
Oh.
Just ask him. 2 Super Bowls in 4 years.
0 wins, though.
Well, he doesn't play in the second one right here.
Well, he don't even have to show up. It's going to be the Chiefs again.
Yeah, I'm going to coach the Eagles on whenever that is, a couple weeks from now.
I mean, that would be cool. What if they brought like just 2 coaches?
All right, hand the ball to Saquon here.
For real.
I wish
hand it off.
He's got the easiest job in the world.
I wish there could be a tie in football for this game. I don't want to see either team win.
Okay, see, that's a terrible take because I could not watch a Super Bowl end in a tie.
Let's see a tie. I would be so happy just to see both teams just walk away.
Wouldn't you rather both teams lose and both teams win?
I mean, if they tie, neither team wins. So.
Yes, they do. Technically, they would just share it like they did in college football in the 90s or 80s.
I
mean, it can't end in a tie.
I know it can't, but like, this is literally like nightmare game for me. I don't want to see either team win.
I'd rather see Jalen Hurts blank stare on the podium just than Mahomes.
I guess
and Travis Kelce up there yelling into the microphone and hugging Taylor Swift. I don't want to see it again. I'm tired of it.
I'm
He's
sorry,
retired.
guys.
I
It's gonna happen.
might have to favor the Eagles on this one.
You favoring the Eagles, Patrick? Who you favoring?
I'm pulling for the Eagles strictly. Well, multiple reasons. One, they have basically the Georgia Bulldogs up there, so I would love to see those boys get a Super Bowl. A lot of them have a national championship ring, so it'd be pretty cool to see them win a Super Bowl. Two, I'm tired of seeing all this Tay crap, dude. I'm so tired of it. I mean, the Chiefs literally they make me so mad, bro. Like, I respect that Patrick Mahomes is just like, he's just a winner, but it just like, it's just frustrating at this point because like they don't do anything like glamorous. They don't have a glamorous roster.
They're just great. I mean, they're pretty glamorous on defense.
They have a good defense, but I think that like honestly, the anchor of that defense is Chris Jones. I think if you take Chris Jones out, I mean he's really good, but if you take it out, it's a completely different
It's like
defense.
saying if you take Jalen Carter out of the Eagles' defense, it's completely different.
Yeah,
defense.
it is.
Yeah. That's
So,
just what
but
a
I'm
game
just saying-
record does.
Right, but I'll be honest, I'm just tired of seeing all the hype. Like I'd like to see another team win it. The Eagles have actually done a really good job this year. Just kind of like they've had their bumps in the road, but so have the Chiefs, and they just slid underneath the radar, in my opinion, because everybody's talking about the Lions and the Vikings coming out of the NFC, and then the Eagles were just sitting right there, like, all right, y'all can talk about them, but we're gonna be right here at the end, and lo and behold, they are. I think they have. I think honestly that after watching everything shake out, I do think that this is the only team that has the best chance to beat them.
I think that everything
Next to the Bills, but the Bills didn't get it done.
I think everything the Eagles do, the Chiefs have an answer for it. I don't know. We'll see.
I wasn't on the pod
This
to
game
talk
is
about the Lions, but how about just Dan Campbell says all this prophetic stuff and this ultra motivator, and they just didn't show up.
That's
Down
just
their
classic
leg.
Detroit.
I loved it. I'm not on the Detroit bandwagon though. Sorry.
You don't like the
hate me.
Lions?
No.
I just think their
I don't like all
offense
that.
is fun to watch. But I mean, they had a lot of injuries. It's
All
kind
that
of like
raw
the Braves.
they got going on.
It was kind of like the Braves
I
last
like what
year.
you said about Mahomes. I think that the referees making all these calls and all this noise around that, and then Travis Kelce being so like flamboyant with Taylor Swift, for me that taints his legacy.
Right.
So he'll never be my GOAT. I just wanted to say that Tom
Oh.
Brady will be my GOAT.
Whoa.
Mahomes
Okay.
will never.
So
I'm with you on that one.
I was
And his
with
wife
you.
sucks.
I was with you for 90% of that.
Sorry.
90% of
What's her
that,
name?
I was
Brittany?
on board.
Brittany.
Yes, Brittany Mahomes. I was on board with you for a while you were saying that. I think we need to realize 5 Super Bowls before he's 30 years old with sitting a year under Alex Smith. I mean, that's never been done before. He's making Brady look average. I mean, you want me to be 100% honest. What? He is. Brady didn't make 5 Super Bowls before he was 30. And he's not going to win 3
You're
in a
right.
row.
You're right. He did,
Brady
but he
sat-
did it with
Brady
Ray
sat a
Lewis and
while.
everybody else on the other side of the ball.
Brady
when
sat a while.
Did you, dude? Brady got like up until 08, like when he got injured that following year, that man got obliterated. If any of those people, if you go back and watch the highlights, if anybody hit Patrick Mahomes like that, they would be like sent to prison for 20 years and a life sentence.
Have you looked up side by side through 7 years starting what Mahomes has done compared to
It's
Brady?
about dang near the same.
No, he's done everything better.
About.
Mahomes is on pace to be better than Brady. He's 29 years old in his 5th Super Bowl. Brady won 7. Mahomes is about to win number 4 before he's 30. Brady played till he was 43. I'm just saying. You give Patrick Mahomes 14 more years, you think he's not going to win 8 Super Bowls?
I think he wins 8, but I think he's gonna have to. For me, he's gonna have to move around a little bit. If he's gonna have to move, I think that's what solidifies it. He won one in both conferences.
He would. If he was in the NFC, he'd make it. Or he's already making it.
I also don't
every
think
year.
it's a guarantee he makes. He wins 8 because he's not gonna win in 2 weeks.
Eventually, it
It's
has
just
to
my
run out.
opinion.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's
We
this
said that
one.
with Brady. It
And
never ran
but
out.
he did. Yeah, it did. He lost a couple times. I'm not saying Mahomes won't be in it every
He
year.
won it in 2020. That was only 5 years ago. He retired in 2022. I mean, he never really ran out.
I just
I'm
think that Brady. How many times did Brady lose in the bowl? 3.
3, I think.
Yeah, because he lost twice to the Giants.
He
One to
should
the
have
Eagles.
lost 4. The Falcons could have just held on.
Yeah.
Well, it's
didn't.
Kyle Shanahan, okay, and he's
I tell
classic
you
at selling Super
what is
Bowls.
funny, if you watch the Commanders, it's almost like Dan Quinn said from the Super Bowl, I'm never going to not take a chance again, because every fourth down he goes for.
They're pretty good at it. They're pretty good at it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do think Mahomes could be the GOAT, but I think he's also got a lot of proof, because if they win, he's still at 4. He's got to win 4 more, obviously, to surpass Brady. And he's going to start losing his guys a little bit. I mean, the crazy thing is, it's very similar. Their two career arcs are kind of similar, because they don't have anybody around them. They just have a bunch of nobodies. They have washed up Juju, old Kelsey.
Yeah.
Zaire Worthy's a pretty special player.
Kareem Hunt was sitting on his couch like 4 months ago.
All the faces are changing, just like with Brady. All the faces change all the time, but it's the same winning. And it's because you got to have a good defense, and they both have elite defenses and elite defensive coordinators. So that's why they're both doing it, and they can both make things happen when it counts, and all the pressure's on. So we'll see.
I mean, he's a winner at the end of the day, and it's like I said, it's impressive. That still doesn't mean that
I think he still has. I think
really
do think.
And
he has
I don't. I
three
mean, you
after a
can
couple
completely
weeks.
disagree with this. I don't care. I think the league now is very different than when Brady was going through it. It's a
think
very
it's like
different
arguing
league.
if Michael Jordan or LeBron should go to basketball.
It's two different leagues.
It's
They
gonna
play
end
two
up
different
being like
styles.
that.
They play two different. Just the way that calls get made.
What helps Brady is that when he was 40, he beat Mahomes in the Super Bowl. That's his best case.
Yeah, no.
And it will
100%.
and you can't say that. Well, he had that Kansas City roster was just as loaded, if not more loaded than they have right now.
Yeah, I do think that the quarterbacks, as far as just having to out or have shootouts with them, are more hard to beat right now.
I think Mahomes has a tougher path to the Super Bowl than Brady did.
You have to beat the Ravens or Bills every year, or sometimes both, like last year.
But Brady also had to beat Peyton Manning
He did.
or the Ravens too. But,
and I think there's a lot of similarities between the Mahomes and Allen rivalry and the Brady and Manning rivalry.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very similar. And I don't think Allen gets to the Super Bowl until the Chiefs are beating the divisional round. I just don't think it's going to happen.
And I want to touch on the Bills thing real quick, because you said it was a Sean McDermott problem. And I think it's like mostly a problem, but I also want to say too, to any Bills fans that are calling for his head right now, I think there was about over half the league would be thrilled.
I think
to take Sean McDermott.
30 teams. Would be thrilled.
To at least take what they have. They've lost. Would they lose in the divisional last year, right?
But to the Chiefs.
Yeah, but
right? Was it the Chiefs last year?
Yeah, it should have been.
Or was it the?
Yeah.
It was
it was the Ravens. The Chiefs or the Ravens. I don't remember.
The Chiefs came to Buffalo.
Went to Buffalo. Yeah, that's right. What it was. Yeah. Okay.
But at the end of the day, every year they're still in it. So I mean, if people
2 years ago
they went,
tripping.
No, they lost to
Buffalo.
Lost to the Bengals.
Buffalo wasn't very good last year.
But they were in the playoffs. I just can't remember how it went down. The Chiefs played the Ravens in the conference championship, so I think they played the Bills in the
regardless of the end, the point I'm trying to make is they have their head coach, and Bills.
They went
the Bills Nation
14-3 with this roster. This is if you take Josh Allen off this team wins 5 games. Yeah, maybe less.
They need to back him up a little bit more.
If you put Josh Allen on any roster, you're making the playoffs.
Oh, 100%. You're probably making the conference championship.
Yeah.
Josh Allen, please come to the Falcons. Please come to the
Chiefs.
Falcons.
It's almost like the Ohio State, Michigan. Like Ryan Day can't get past Michigan, Sean McDermott can't get past the Chiefs.
Good point.
Yeah,
a really good point.
I don't know what he just said.
Oh yeah, you don't have it. He said that it's like the Ryan Day Michigan situation. McDermott
he just can't get over the hump.
Yeah. Marin, who you think is gonna?
I hope that the Eagles win, just because they have a bunch of Georgia guys on their roster, like you said. But I don't want the Chiefs to win. I hate seeing the Kelsey brothers, and I hate Taylor Swift.
I want the Chiefs to win because of DeAndre Hopkins. I mean, which is a good point. He's from Clemson. He's a Hall of Famer. He needs a Super Bowl ring. I mean, I got to pull for my guy. He's been in the league for a while. He said in an interview the other day he's been traded away for pennies while being one of the best receivers in the league. I think he deserves a Super Bowl. A Super Bowl.
You have one catch for 11 yards in the AFC
Yeah, he's old.
Championship.
He's old.
Well, yeah, that's
Boy's
the thing.
washed.
For him to say that he was traded for pennies in his prime, I think is a little bit.
Well, when he was traded from the Texans to the Cardinals.
Well, yeah, but he also did absolutely nothing for the Cardinals.
He did.
After the Texans days, he's done nothing. I would put him in the Hall of Fame though, just for what he did in Houston. But that's just me. But yeah, I think that's a little bit of an exaggeration. For one player to kind of root for the Chiefs is, he's a Mahomes guy though. That's what it is.
Yeah.
I am a Mahomes guy. I don't care.
I'm not a Mahomes guy.
You go hang out with Amir. Go join
referee gate. It's just like Brady. The referees and Brady was the same thing. That's what happens when you always win.
Of the doubt. That's
what happens when you always win.
It is. And if that Allen call happens in the Commanders-Eagles game, no one's saying anything about it. They get the benefit of the doubt, of course, because they were winners. Everybody used to say the same stuff about Brady, and it was so exhausting. And then at the end of his career, we finally said, man, we witnessed greatness. That's what you're going to say in 15 years when Mahomes is done. Just saying. You're finally going to come around.
So we got Chiefs, Eagles.
We'll talk more about it next week.
Fly, Eagles, fly.
Eagles.
Jaxon?
Meteor strike.
Love that. That's what I thought about the national championship. I didn't even watch it.
Yeah, so that's going to be awesome.
There's a lot of stuff that people are going to boycott this Super Bowl because they hate both teams. They're tired of all the crap around
Can
both
we get
teams.
rid of the Pro Bowl and just make the Super Bowl this week? Because the Pro Bowl is the most pointless thing.
People are opting out of it.
Who wants to watch a flag football game?
That was about to be my next thing. Russell Wilson is a quarterback in the Pro Bowl games. Drake May is a quarterback in the Pro Bowl games. Like, if you're down to that, just get rid of it. Give people, call them All-Stars or whatever you want to call Pro Bowlers. Put it in their Football Reference profile.
Put
so
it like
you can
in Tahiti or something instead of Hawaii, so maybe they'll vacation.
No, I'm just saying don't make a game. Make it teams and be like, look, you all guys made the All-Star team. And then be done with it. No, don't even play a game. Because if you're playing it this late in the season, it doesn't matter. If you're going to play it in the middle of the season, they might even play.
The only thing that I would change about it is that if they wanted to still keep something sort of around, just like you said, make Super Bowl this week, but just make it a longer week and just throw something in there during the Super Bowl week so you don't have to drag everything out. Like, you could still do, like, if they wanted to keep around this flag football game that nobody cares about, then they could at least do it the week of the Super Bowl, like leading into it and just kind of incorporate it into that.
Well, the reason it's different in baseball is because football players put their bodies through so much for 17 weeks and the seasons just keep getting longer because they're trying to add another game. They don't want
They
Goodell
weren't going to play in the middle just because such a much more of a risk than baseball.
I don't think they should play it at all. I just don't think they should play. I just think that you just do some like fun little games. There's something I watch from it. I don't even remember. I like to watch the quarterbacks
hit the little targets.
I like the dodgeball. That's what I like. I like
the only thing I have to say about adding games really quickly, because I know we're trying to wrap up, is I don't think they should. As much as I hate to see football season go away, I think it's going to drastically change the season when it comes to injuries and stuff like that. And I think that the game will actually deteriorate from it, and the quality of the game will go down.
That's what I'll say. If you actually
Roger Goodell will be the destruction of the NFL.
If you give the Pro Bowl a shot and you watch all those games that they play and all those like little events, it's actually not bad to watch.
Right.
But for people that are looking at it, they're like, they're going to be playing flag football and they're going to be playing all these dumb games. It seems stupid. And yeah, I've watched it when I had nothing else better to do. But it's really not that bad to watch. You get to see some personality of these guys.
Yeah.
When normally you just see them in a helmet. So just give it a shot. If you're really bored, give it a shot because it's really not that bad.
And they might start picking people off of the podcast to come play in the Pro Bowl games because they have no one left.
If you're listening to this, Peyton or Eli, if you're listening to this, give me a shot. Slot receiver, safety, give me a shot.
Yeah, but back to the extending football season. I think everybody loves football so much, so we're like, let's just keep it going. That's what ruins what's so great about it, is you have to wait on it and to come back. Just let college football season in the middle, like the 10th through the 15th.
And what happened right after last week's show?
Yes,
I literally sent him a screenshot right after we got done with the show, after we talked about like it needs to end January
15th is about the right range.
And then the 2027 national championship in Vegas is
26.
It's 26? Okay. It's going to be held January 25th. And we just got done talking about how much it ruins the sport because of how much the NFL playoffs have clouded the hype for the national championship.
The Natty's on the 25th?
In one of the years. I don't know. It might have been next year.
It's either next year or the year after.
Next year.
It's either next year or the year after. It will be January 25th, and it's so late in the year.
Yeah, it's rough. And then the NFL doesn't need to add games either. The Super Bowl's already, like I read a throwback the other day. It was like 10 years ago today, so-and-so won the Super Bowl. And I'm like, we're in divisional weekend now.
I think while they're going to do that is they're going to give them like, because this year they only gave them a week and a half. So that's probably they're going to give the teams that play in the Natty 2 weeks to get ready.
I think
Obviously, they want the best product
know.
on the field.
I don't know. I feel like the Super Bowl these days is more about the baggage that comes around all the teams and the ads and everything than the actual game itself. And I think that's what's hard for me sometimes to watch, especially because we've seen the Chiefs so much in the Super Bowl. There's a lot of baggage that comes with that team, in my opinion, and I think that's what makes it hard sometimes instead of actually focusing on the game and the matchups. Because there's a lot of baggage that comes with that.
Super Bowl is the biggest corporate event in the world every year. So
and sometimes it just sucks to watch because it's just what comes with it.
Okay, well, I'll never say it sucks to watch. That's crazy.
It doesn't suck to watch.
Not the game itself, but I'm talking about just all the crap that comes around.
Show's bad.
It's always
Kendrick
fun.
This year,
Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah, I'm good.
It's gonna hear not
I
like
will
us.
be going to the bathroom and eating snacks.
It's a long bathroom break, Patrick.
That's very long.
A lot of wipes, brother.
Anyways, thank everyone for listening today. A big thanks to our panelists for coming on the show. We will be back next week with another episode. The Sports Squad is a production of Beringer Phoenix Media. Jasmin Garcia is the TVC Lab coordinator. Jaxon Garner is the producer. Dr. David Bulla is the coordinating producer. We are coming to you from the TVC Lab in University Hall on the Summerville campus of Augusta University. The opinions stated here are those of the individuals, not Augusta University. You can find us at aubellringer.com, on the Augusta Press website, on Spotify, and on social media. Please send your comments to bellringerproduction@gmail.com. Have a great day and listen again soon. This is Justin Gray saying so long. Back at you next week. We're out.